Oh, Tashi Dilek, everybody. Today I'm going to talk about the mindfulness of death. I hope the practice of mindfulness of death will help you a little. When we talk about the mindfulness of death, there are three main factors we have to do meditations. And if you look at the three main factors, each of them has its own three different reasons. The first factor is death is inevitable. So when we do meditation that death is inevitable, the first reason is we have to think that is certain, and there is that is certain, and that is unavoidable. So that is unavoidable. We have to think that. So no matter what kind of body you have, what kind of body you have taken, whether you are human being, whether you are fish, and whether you are animals, whether you are birds, there is no way that you can escape from death. You have to die one day. What kind of body you have taken, it doesn't matter. First thing you have to think that. Second thing, whatever the place that you stay, whether you dive into the deep of the oceans, whether you fly to the sky, whether you fly to the moon, there is no way you can escape from the death. Okay, so wherever the place you live, you have to die. Then third thing that the time, whatever the time you live, whether you have lived in the past, or you are living in the present, or you are going to live in the future, it doesn't matter. You have to die one day, and there is no escape from the death. So this is the first reason you have to think. Then second thing is that our lifetime is constantly diminishing, and our lifetime cannot be extended. So this is the second reason you have to think. So it doesn't matter, each and every seconds, we are becoming closer and closer to the death. One of the Tibetan great masters, his name is Milarepa, and he has he has stated that if the butcher dragged the sheep towards the slaughters, so each step of the sheep is becoming closer and closer to the death. So similarly, our life, each and every day, okay, whether you are sleeping in the night, whether you are walking in the daytimes, you are becoming closer and closer to your death. Okay, like that. It is like the river flows from the origin, and it is going towards to reach the oceans. Similarly, like that. Okay, so every like each and every single time, we are becoming closer and closer to our death, like that. So each and every single time, each and every single moment, we are diminishing our life, So this is the second reasons. Then third reasons, if you look at our life has a little time to do the practice of dharmas. So if I give an example, this is the third reasons you have to think, our life has a little time to do the practice of dharmas. The example is like if I take in my own life, let's say, I'm going to live 60 years, So 60 years of my age, if you look at my 60 years old, uh, if you look at my 60 years age, half of my life, it's going to be a daytime, and half of my life is going to be a nighttime. So 30 years of my life is a nighttime. In the nighttime, I have to sleep, So 30 years is, 30 years is going to be a wasted, like that. So if you look at the another 30 years of my daytime, among them, when I was a boy, when I was young, I was not able to, I was not able to do a practice of Dharma. At that time, I had no capacity to do the practice of Dharma. And if I become older, my my memory will be a weaker. My eyesights, my sense organs, they are becoming a weaker and weaker. So I would not able to do a good practice when I become an age, like that. So we have very little time to do the practice of Dharma, and that time is the present time. So we should not waste this present time. Whatever we have is a very precious time, and we should not, whatever the power and capacity that we have right now is a very precious, and we should not waste that time. If you waste this present time, when you are young, when you are energetic, when you have a power to do everything, at that time, if you wasted your time, then there is no meaning in your life. So these are the three reasons you have to meditate when you are doing when you are reflecting that death is inevitable. The second factor is um, the time of death is unpredictable. So in order to think the time of death is unpredictable, you have to think another three reasons. The first reason is uh, uh, the lifespan of the lifespan uh, on this planet, is uncertain. If you look at the families, like parents are supposed to go first, they are supposed to die first, and children has to remain later, like that. But sometimes we can see that children's died and parents are taking the rites of funeral like that. And if you look at the doctor and patient, doctor are supposed to save the patient's life. Sometimes uh, doctor dies first and patient remains behind like that. So there is no order, systematic order like that. So everything is disorder like that. So uh, I share you a story. uh, uh, there was a one monk, and uh, uh, he enjoyed the dinner, and then he kept uh, uh, some like he kept some dinners for his breakfast. Actually he cooked the tentuk in Tibetan. Tentuk, it called it tentuk. So he thought that I will enjoy some tentuk in the morning. So he kept it like that. So in the night, in that very night, he died. He was not able to enjoy his tentuk in the morning. So jokingly, I'm telling that before the tentuk finishes, he himself finished earlier like that. So in Tibetan, practitioner, they are always saying that tomorrow morning and your next life, who knows which come first? So there is no, there is no certain there. The time of death is uncertain. We have to think like that. If you look at the day and night, every night millions and millions of people are dying, and every daytime millions and millions of people are dying. So one day you will be included into that, millions and millions of people. So who knows, where, uh, uh, who knows, when the death will strike to us? Who knows that? So our lifespan on this planet is uncertain. Okay, this is the one first reason. And second reason is that the course of our life and course of our death. Course of our life is few, and the course of our death is many. Many. Uh, if you look at our own body, our body is composed of five elements, five basic elements. If you look at the elements, earth elements, water elements, fire elements, air elements, they are always, uh, uh, against of each other. They are fighting to each other. If something happens, like one element becomes stronger and another's becomes weaker, then we are going to get illness, and we might have to face the death, like that. And if you look at the course of our life, many course of our life, they are converting into the course of death. Uh, if I give you an example, like a food, shelter, building, aeroplane, car, these are supposed to support our life. Sometimes, people are dying because of the food poisons. Sometimes people are dying because of an aeroplane crashing. Sometimes people are dying because of the building collapsing. Sometimes people are dying because of the car accidents. So these are the course of life, but they are converting into the cause of deaths. So our life, death of a time of death is very uncertainty, like that. And the third reason is our our time of death is uncertain because our body is very fragile. And if I take, here I have a bar, like a metal bar here. So sometimes I see them, I can see that uh, uh, these iron, these metals, they are rusting, they are decaying, like that. So metals and irons, actually they are stronger than my body, but sometimes they are disintegrating, they are decaying faster than my body. So my body, sooner or later, it has to be disintegrated, like that. So these are the three reasons you have to think when you are doing a meditations, that the time of death is unpredictable. Then the third factor is, at the time of death, uh, only the practice of Dharma can be of useful, like that. Only the practice of Dharma, nothing can be helpful, like that. So if you take our body, if you take an example of our body, sooner or later, no matter whether you give a food, good food to your body, whether you give a good clothes to your body, whether you do a good exercise in your life, sooner or later your body will dump you, it will dump you, and then you have to give up your body, like that. Isn't that, like that? So body is helpless at the time of death. And if you look at the material resources, whatever the money you have, whatever the treasure you have, whatever the property you have, whatever the land you have, so they are helpless at the time of at the time of death. A Tibetan practitioner, great practitioner, Milarepa, said that uh, even you are even the king has a treasures, he cannot take every single coin together. And even a beggar has a stick, he cannot take it together. It's very true, isn't that? At the time of death, these like material resources are completely helpless, like that. And and if you look at the friends and relatives, they are also helpless. Sometimes like friends and families, uh, they are crying next to you when you are at the time of death, and it might cause a problem. It might gives you more anxiety and more upset, at the time of that, a death like that. So what things can help us is the practice of Dharma. If you do a practice of Dharma, if you do a good things in your life, then your life becomes a meaningful life. At the time of death, you would not regret your life, okay? And you will have a good confidence, okay? You would not regret your your life. And if you are a Buddhist practitioner, then it will definitely help you to take a better life in the future, like that. So practice of Dharma, helping to people and doing doing the practice, and as a teacher, I teach to the students with this very sincerely, so that these kind of things help me, uh, uh, to be a better human being and happy human being at the present time, and also it will help me to have a better, better life in the futures, like that. So it is very important to do. So these are the three reasons. First, your body is helpless at the time of death. Only the practice of Dharma can be a useful. Rest of other is helpless, useless. Body is useless. Your material resource is useless, and your friends and families are useless. Okay, only the practice of Dharma can be helpful. You have to think that. So if you do not do the meditation on the mindfulness of death, and everybody say that one day I'm going to die. Everybody say that. But in our daily life, we think that, oh, I won't die today. I won't die tomorrow. I won't die, this month. I won't die this year. So we are preparing to live very long time, So in order to live a longer time, then we think that we need a good food, good shelter, okay, and money and famous reputations, we think that. So in order to achieve all these things, so then we are starting to cheat other peoples. We are, we are bullying other peoples. Then we are committing so many, uh, uh, wrongdoings in our life. Then we are absorbing into the problems, we are dissolving into the problems like that. So if you, do the practice of mindfulness of death, it really helps you to be a better human being, and also, you become a meaningful life. So this is the point. You have to do the meditation on the mindfulness of death. That's all. Thank you.